Hello and welcome to XO. I'm Keith McNally, your editor and host. So I've been listening to Louis C.K.'s old appearances on the Opie and Anthony radio show. There's a guy who's been posting them all on YouTube. They're really interesting. They're just numbered like 1 through 44. And they're like crazy long. Like some of them are 3 or 4 hours long because it's a long-ass radio show. And it's pretty interesting. It starts back in like 2006 or so, all the way up until now. And he's a really interesting dude. Like, it's just cool to hear all of his thoughts throughout the years and how some of them worked their way into his comedy or onto his show. And you just get to hear him talk about all kinds of other stuff that doesn't come up in his other things. But the one thing that really stands out to me is the stuff about his kids and, by extension, his marriage and divorce. I think for a lot of people that is kind of what pushed him to this sort of next level where people became more aware of him, was when he started doing comedy about his kids and what it's like to be a dad. And I found it really interesting because he talks a lot about being a single father now and what that's like. And I got to do this kind of sort of lucky, unusual thing for people in my generation where it's just your standard North American white guy who's in his 20s or early 30s. We're a real disconnected group. We're really just, our family connections are not well connected at all. My grandmother just kind of lives out sort of by herself, and I never really see my cousins or aunts or uncles, and there's just like the sort of family togetherness that you took for granted in old style societies. It's really, really fallen apart for us. So just the fact that I never really got a chance to spend a lot of time with kids, I just didn't think I could do it. And there's also this sort of, it's never really spoken directly, but this sense when you're the man and you're with a kid and the mom, there's just this like, this hesitancy to allow you to learn how to deal with the kid. It's just this sort of sense that you don't know what you're doing and you're not supposed to be the one taking care of this. So you just keep your distance, and don't want to overstep your bounds or whatever. My cousin, he had a daughter. And when she was about 3 years old, he ended up being, for that year, the sole parent. And it timed out that was the same time that I moved back to my hometown for a little while. So I moved in with him, and I became like the de facto babysitter, the sort of live-in nanny person while he would go to work and stuff. And it was like this really great thing to get to do. How old was I at the time? 27 or 28? And, I would get up with the kid. I would put her to sleep most days. I just spent all day with her. And I found out that I was really good at it. And I liked it a lot. And I had a really good time mostly, it's tough, but it also felt important. Like I was actually doing something useful with myself because that kid really needed somebody at that time. And I was glad that I could do it. And I was just surprised at how fulfilling it was, first off, and how good I was at it. But I think that's something that a lot of people from my particular demographic, they never get to learn that, to find that out. So I think it was a lucky thing to be able to do. It was a very good year of my life. So I can't relate directly to Louis C.K.'s experiences, but I feel like there's a lot of parallels. He talks about a lot of stuff that, because of that year I spent, is really interesting to me. So these are clips mostly from Opie and Anthony. There's a couple from other places. Oh, and I also put in some stories about just times that Louis did just crazy shit, like the sort of little illustrations of what his life was like sometimes before he had kids. Before he had this responsibility, he would really let his life go off the rails sometimes. And I mean, they're just interesting stories anyway. It's like, helps sort of illustrate why he's such a unique guy. He really does think weird ways and do crazy shit that normal people wouldn't do. And then I just split them up with some songs. They're mostly chronological. And it's a real interesting little story. So here's the story of Louis C.K. and his wife and his kids and his life.
When you get divorced, you don't get divorced right on time. Nobody gets divorced right. Perfect. It just went bad just now. Let's stop. That's not what happens. You get divorced after being in just a shit marriage for several years, and you were only aware of it for one. Because, by the way, and it's not, I know you're all getting quiet and sad. It's not, I'm not saying don't get married, by the way. Go ahead and get married. Fall in love, get married, and then get divorced. And raise your kids properly in 2 well-adjusted, happy homes. What could be better than that? What would you rather grow up in a home full of just gnarly, just shit passed on from generation to you know how like a unbroken chain of shitty marriages, and they all like weigh on this one little child's head this big, and it's grandma and grandpa's shit marriage, and the parent and the kid's like, and the kid carries it through their life till they find someone else and give them half of it, and now they have 2 and they crush it down on another kid's head. It's just humane to go let this kid be in 2 houses full of people that are just and having fun and not yelling at each other. It's fair to do that.
I stayed until the Star-Spangled Banner played, and I couldn't keep my eyes open.
I gotta tell you guys, wherever I go, man, I was in Rochester for a few days, and a lot of Lucky Louie fans up there. And people you would never expect, like, you know, proper women that don't have a dirty mind, and I'm like,
that's
what?
the weird thing. It's mostly older people. There's always older, in New York, every corner I'm waiting for a red light, some older Jewish woman puts her hand on my chest kind of sexually and says, "You are wonderful," like old Jewish ladies, and old black couples, well-dressed, come up to me and say that they love the show, and then take my wallet and stuff.
That was the problem. You just needed white people.
I didn't expect
a lot of white people.
There's more
to
white
enjoy
people
the show.
in America.
I didn't expect the soccer moms. I
they
just
dig it.
didn't, you know, and that's what I see a lot. They come up and go, that show is so honest, and the language, it was real. And
Well, when I started doing material about having a family on stage, I thought I was going to get booed for the stuff I was going to say, because I did it out of frustration. I didn't think it would be that make me successful. I was going on stage and saying stuff like, now that I have a baby, I understand babies in the garbage. Like, I wouldn't do it, but for the first time, I get it. Like, I totally visualize it. And it's true, every parent, actually, your head goes to like, okay, who would know? Like, how many people have seen this baby? And like, oh yeah, they got her footprint at the hospital. Forget it now, it's not gonna.
Could I explain it away?
They're gonna come around. Hey, what happened? What? We didn't have a baby. What are you talking about? But so I would do jokes about that, and I thought I'd just get booed, and I was just doing it for my own. And soccer moms would come up to me after shows, and say, "Thank you for doing
Thank you. I did kill my baby.
I threw my baby in the garbage. I didn't realize how funny it is that I did so.
Louis, what's the most frustrating thing about being a parent?
I think it's the spouse. I think if I was alone, I'd be fine.
Alone with a kid?
Yeah, seriously. I got 2, and I sort of think in my head, because you do the virtual reality. Okay, my wife dies, and the kids are still around. You know, get a nanny. I mean, I could do it. I remember when I was first living with my wife, when she was my girlfriend, I ordered some porn, pay-per-view, and I was at a point in our relationship where I couldn't reconcile that with her. We eventually,
got past
it.
Negotiated?
Yeah.
Had a diplomatic negotiation?
But at that point, she said, "Why is this on this bill?" And I was like, "I did not. I just decided to take that."
Oh, that cable company.
Do not watch pornography. That was not me. And she's like, "Oh, well, let's call the cable company. Call them right." And I go, "I'll call," because I'm outraged. And I call the cable company. "Why is this on my bill?" And this woman's like, well, "You're an idiot. You ordered it." And I'm going, "No, I didn't. I want to speak to your supervisor." And I was just like forced into this ridiculous. Oh,
And the whole time in your head, you're just like, I did order it. I did. Oh, my God, I did.
So how
Don't
did
read
it
my
end?
mind.
The woman on the phone just sounded piteously like, oh, this poor guy can't tell his girlfriend.
So did she help you out, or?
Eventually, I was on hold for a really long time, and my wife just walked out of the room in disgust.
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone.
Hung up and said, "Oh, they're going to take care of it. They're going to give us a credit.
Well, do you?
Oh,
The next
God.
Tyson fight is free."
Are you a spanker, Lou? Do you spank girls?
What? Do I spank girls?
Yeah.
No.
That's what you need to do. I think, Lou, you need
Does that
to
help?
Gotta get some of that anger out.
It's
Some of that
No.
pent up.
Because women like get really weird about like certain things, like pornography, and a lot of girlfriends I've had do too. And boy, you'd be surprised when you start reddening that bottom, how all of a sudden they come around and you tap into that monster. You tap into that monster in their little dirty heads.
Yeah?
I'm telling you, yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I what. I don't know.
I don't know, man, but I'm 2 kids into my marriage. I don't think I can start spanking
No,
my
it's
wife
a tough one to bring to the table.
No. Start.
After
She would
having
turn
2
around and
kids.
belt you.
We have sex about every 8 months.
Do it as a goof.
And if the next time I spank her, I don't know if
That is really a funny thought, man. You can't start now.
No.
You do
10 years in, 2 kids in,
You do it as a goof.
sex is almost over,
Do it as a goof.
and I spank her.
As a joke, just kind of like laughing with,
Yeah.
like paddle her a little bit,
Oh,
hit the
my
red in the
God.
cheeks a little bit.
Would
I'm
she
telling
just
you.
openly
Oh, my
laugh
God.
at you if you
I don't
tried that?
I think it would just, I can't even imagine. It would just be bizarre.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere new sexually. We're not even going anywhere old. We're not even like I was thinking the other day, if I was pondering, what if I asked my wife to give me, to go down on me? It would just be weird. Really? She would look at me like, what are you, nuts? It would be like if a parking attendant asked her, like out of the blue.
Oh, God.
She'd be like, what?
No, but do you? Let's just say, do you engage in that activity?
What, do I do that to other people?
No, you and her. Does
Because
she?
I do. No, my wife and I, no.
She won't.
No.
Really?
Not for a long time.
He just makes a face like, no.
Here's how you stop
High?
it.
What are you, high? No.
Look, here's the way you got to do it, and this is the way you should have done it from the beginning.
Yeah,
but
go
it's
ahead,
never too
Mr.
late.
Never been
Trust
married.
me. No, never been married.
No idea what
But
my
I've
life
dumped
is.
enough of them. No, I don't know what it's like to be married, but I do know what it's like to boot one out of a relationship because the look up. When I'm getting the look up, like, hey, I'm doing you a favor. Relationship over.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Over.
Listen, I hear you, but I got 2 kids.
No, I'm
it
not saying you
changes
should.
everything.
I'm not saying you should leave her, but I think
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I can't.
I think if occasionally if you slap like you take it and hit it on the cheek
Oh, yeah.
against the
No,
face, like,
totally.
hey,
He's thinking,
open up.
knowing what he knows, he has all the intel
Yeah.
on this relationship because he's in it. So he's looking at what you're saying, and you are insane to him right
Yeah,
now.
I have more chance of slapping the president on the cheek with my
There you go.
than my wife. I could get closer to him.
Jimmy might as well be saying, you strap the bomb on your body and run into the crowd. And you're like, no, you don't understand. We don't do this.
No.
It's not even
you sure you're not missing something like sometimes you're too close to somebody when you know somebody too well.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen enough. I'll tell you why. I've seen enough married women,
Way off.
enough wives.
You're way off.
That's like my wife and I went to therapy, and the therapist said, you should go on a date. Go on a date. I'm like, let's leave. You're like 15 years behind us, lady.
Is that where that came from in Lucky Louie? That episode
What?
where you and Pam went on a date, like because you were fighting and you decided to go
That
out to
kid
dinner?
didn't come. That happened. The therapy thing happened afterwards. But no, that's what you do when you get in a big enough fight. When you have kids, you have to actually. It's not a date though, like romantic. It's like we better go to dinner so we can properly fight without ruining the kid.
Without the kids
We
being
need a
in the room.
babysitter so we can really dig into
Do you
each other.
fight in front of the
So we
children?
can really let the
You
hate
don't?
fly. No, we do. We do. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't avoid it.
Oh, it should be avoided at all
You
costs.
try really hard, but you always get yourself in those moments where you're caught up in saying something you really believe, and you look at your little kid's eyes looking up at you going, so that's how horrible it is to be a grown-up.
I was just crushed as a kid constantly. My parents never stopped, and it just turned me into a mess. Turned me into a little whiny mess my whole life. Where they would just nonstop throwing like F and C bombs across like they didn't care. Atomic bombs are flying, and it was every ridiculous arguments. And then I was talking about my memory of sitting around at the dinner table, which was just whenever the two of them, my mother and father, were in the same room together. I would just freeze up and get all nervous and like, oh, when's it going to start? It's got to start soon.
God.
So we're sitting at the dinner table, which was just a stressful thing. No talking. You just hear the clink, clink, clink of the fork on the plate.
Oh, no.
And someone said something, and it started. So my father just goes, grabs the plate of spaghetti and meatballs and throws it at the wall. And all I remember is sitting there looking at this running spaghetti down the phone. Like it hit the phone on the wall and the wall. And
phone.
Yeah. And that like stands out in my head. And just my mother chasing him out of the house, calling him an F face. And it's like, dude, what do you idiots realize there are children in the room? And we're like absorbing this stuff, and it affects you emotionally.
The reason it happens is because the fights are about something stupid.
Oh yeah,
You're not gonna. I'm not gonna in front of my daughter say to my wife, why are you eating my soul or something like that. But it doesn't happen that way. It's like she says, why don't you take the garbage out? Well, the bin outside is full. Really? There's not room for one more bag.
Oh no!
I just said it's full. So why, when you say really? So, like, you just don't believe I mean, why don't you go out? Because I hate taking it. Why don't you go out there and check? I'm just asking you if there's room. No, you asked me if there's room, and then I said no, and then you said, really? Like I'm an idiot. And this is in front of, like, this is about garbage, so you don't think it's going to get bad?
Right.
40 minutes later, it's like, why are you... I hate you. And then you look at my daughter's like, God. No, it didn't get to me saying I hate you, but it got to that conversation about the garbage. But in this, and also because the kid's there, you're trying to be really controlled, but it's worse than yelling.
Make it sound like we're just talking.
You understand that when I answer a question and then you ask it again, it's you not believing me, and that makes me feel like a piece of crap. Do you understand that? Okay, you need to stop talking like this. You need to stop now. Okay, but you pick a fight with me, and then you halt my side of the fight. And that's horseshit, sitting there just like, oh, God.
Who usually wins?
My daughter's smoking a cigarette with pinky fingers.
Who usually wins them?
Well, there's no winner. There's nobody goes, oh.
Wow, victory is mine.
You're right.
No, but in a fight, like, a lot of times, like, even if it's with a girlfriend or whatever, it's like, I know that there are times where I just kind of cave and go, all right. Like, my girlfriend does, too. Like, who usually will be the one that you like subjectively, who would you say is normally the one that...
It goes through periods because there are eras in a marriage. You know what I mean? It's like there was a whole
Mesozoic.
Like eras. There was like 4 years where every fight ended with me going, okay, I'm going to try to look at this.
You look at a sample core of sediment and remember that argument.
Yeah. And I for like a good 4 years, I would stop and say, listen, I think I went to therapy. I told her, look, I think I got something wrong with me because I can't get along with you. And I conceded that it was my fault, like everything, for 4 years. And then now she's doing it now, and I'm going, so what? So what? So stop then. I've become such an awful person in our marriage. It's all my fault right now, but I can't, and I know it, but I can't control it.
Hey, going back to Anthony really fast.
Wow.
Were your parents ever happy?
Maybe when I was too young to remember.
So your whole memory is them fighting?
I have certain like happy memories where we were all together as a family when I was very young, things like that, but few and far between. It would usually end up in some
Did you have brothers or sisters?
Yeah, older brother, younger sister, and they saw the same stuff. But I was always like the wreck. I was always the one that would come out, stop! Why are you fighting?
That's amazing.
I know. I was the worst. I was the worst little faggoty kid. Just always crying and scared I was going to be kidnapped.
Wow.
Whenever my mommy left us in the car, I would just scream she'd park. And she goes, I'll be out in a little while. Now, years ago, when I was a kid, parents did this.
That's
kids
crazy.
didn't get kidnapped or anything, but you just left your kids in the car.
And how old
She goes,
were
I'll
you?
be right out.
Crazy. 17.
I was, yeah, 17.
It's not your fault. That's
I know.
Crazy.
I was probably like
leave your
6
6
or something like that. My brother's 8.
You don't leave your kids in
I know.
that car.
It was like in ancient times. So she'd pull into the parking space, run into the store, and if a guy would come out to go to the car that was parked next to ours, he'd, walk next to our car. I'd go, "Ah!" and just start crying hysterically like this guy was going to kidnap us.
Of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I was a kid. I was a scared little kid.
My
and
daughter
my
is
parents didn't
5.
make it any better.
My daughter's 5. That blows my mind, the idea of like, yeah, I'll be right.
I'll be right back, like a dog. Well, I'll roll the window down so you can get some air.
It was
Permanent damage.
It was different when we were growing up. That stuff happened all the time.
No seatbelts, the big Rambler with the big metal friggin' anvil for a dashboard that you would smash your face into. But your dad would no seatbelt. He'd put his arm up so you wouldn't go through that.
Well, that would save you, though.
That's if he wasn't hanging on to a beer at the time, because that was a little more important. Hold on to a beer and the steering wheel.
And his child's life.
Of course.
That's amazing, though. Your telling of your memory of those fights is very vivid.
Oh, it's
very
too
well
vivid.
told and vivid.
They were always like that. It was just, whenever they were in the same room together, just this nerve-wracking, shaking feeling that it's going to blow up. Here it is.
Wow.
Here it is.
Tapping bottles and twisting caps. I don't mess with that. Looking for trouble and rapping slack.
We hope we can work something out.
Yeah, I hope you're right. No, I mean, I'm going on the road all year. I'm doing this year is a road year. My wife and I made a deal that I'm going to go. It's going to be 2 weeks on, 1 week off all year.
Does she want you gone or she wants you home?
She wants me gone, and we need the money, and I want to do another special this year, so I'm building another.
Wait, 2 weeks on, 1 week off?
Yeah, so I'm going to be on the road all year long.
How lucky are you?
I know.
Don't have to deal with the screaming kids.
Wait.
Wow.
I go on the road well too. Like I have the club pay. Like I have them pick me a really nice hotel, like the best one in town. I pay for it, but I have them take it out of my check. And it's all fuck my wife stuff. It's all when I go on the road, I stay at the fucking Ritz, and it's like half my check. But fuck her. That's why. So many things are motivated, I think, in the world by fuck my wife. I really think like there was a guy in Egypt and his wife, don't make pyramids, and he's like, fuck you, I'm making them. And that's where I swear that motivated that. But no, I do. I go nice on the road.
Yeah.
I pay. It's not I'm not a star. Nobody lets me have that.
They're not
But
paying
my
for
wife
you,
doesn't bother looking at the books and seeing she doesn't, it's a way to hide.
You've got to keep yourself rested and comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, but not at the Ritz. I literally stay at the Ritz.
Do you order room service?
Of course.
Yeah, that's like the best.
I rent a Jaguar. When I was in D.C., I always rent a Jaguar if it's available.
Oh, my
Just 'cause
God.
I'm an asshole. And then I fly first class and I stay at the Ritz. It takes a huge amount of my check, but my wife doesn't, because it's not like it's coming off our Visa bill. I have the club pay for it, which is also bad for my taxes. It's really dumb.
Yeah, because you could write all that shit off.
But it's because at home I got to fight for everything I want. I have I don't have like a proper office in our house. Like there's nothing that is, my comfort is the last priority of our family. It's our kids, the poor tired mom who works so hard to raise the kids, and I can go fuck myself. But on the road, I'm like, fuck everybody.
Wow.
I am the president of the United States.
A Jaguar and the Ritz in first. Good for you.
If there's no Ritz, I stay at the presidential suite at whatever fucking shithole I'm staying at. That's the kind of, I'm such an asshole.
That's wonderful.
The greatest.
He's fine, don't make no sound. He's fine. She's fine, but been around.
Hey, I got one quick story about Rome, by the way, because this guy mentioned the Carabinieri, the state police there.
Yeah.
I was in Rome once. I went to Russia and Rome by myself. Ooh. Just pathetically. Spoke to no people for 2 weeks.
Made no connections with anybody.
But that
Just
sounds so exciting.
It was interesting. I saw some cool shit. But when
After a few days, were you going like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I'm in hotels. I could be in a hotel in fucking Newton, Massachusetts.
In Phoenix or something.
Yeah. So I'm in a car that I rented in Rome, and I'm looking at beautiful countryside. These are postcards out my window. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm driving down a highway in near Rome, through the countryside, and I'm like, I'm going crazy. I haven't talked to anybody, and there's a roadblock of Carabinieri, state police, and they look like Nazis. They have high hats and boots up to their knees, and they have arrête or whatever stop signs. They have a roadblock. They're stopping traffic, and I just have this weird idea in my head. Nothing's happened to me, and I don't care what happens to me now. And I gunned it. And I went around them a little into opposite traffic.
What the
I
fuck
swear to God,
is
I
wrong
did this.
with you?
I floored it, went around a guy, and then I look at my rearview mirror, and they're running on, like it's the Pink Panther or something, like shaking their fists. And I'm like, fuck it. Get in your cars, chase me, put me in jail. I'd actually happily be in an Italian jail, meet some Italian people.
He's insane.
Because I hadn't had, like, the guts to say hello to anybody.
That is great.
So what happened? Nothing fucking happened. They shook their little fists. They got
like
small
in
in my
movies.
Yeah. They got small in the mirror, and I went on, and nobody
That's
did anything.
fantastic. It's like a little bit of excitement. If you got caught, you'd have to interact with people.
I'd be at some sergeant's desk who'd be typing my name, and they'd call somebody at
all
home.
smoking cigarettes that weird European way.
Yeah. What would have happened? I would have spent one night in jail and paid a fine and had a really interesting experience.
Yeah, interesting jail. You don't know what Italian jails are like.
Exactly.
Big unclipped cock going into your ass.
Fucking hang me for dodging a fucking...
Yeah.
They find out I'm not a criminal. I'm just some asshole.
American comedian dies in hail of bullets.
Because he didn't pay attention to a stop sign.
Just a summer's day, drink sangria in the park. Then later when it gets dark, we go home.
I got arrested once at the Holland Tunnel because this is how bad I was. My license was revoked. Not suspended, but revoked.
That's bad.
And I had, crazy amounts of warrants, open warrants. And the car I was driving had the plates from a different car.
Oh, that's never good. The cops don't like that.
No, and the plates were bad anyway. So, I mean, in other words, the car that they came from had expired. The plates were expired and from another car.
Wait, for anyone that doubted Louis was Mexican.
And I was coming through the Holland Tunnel, and I had no money. That's where it all started. That I pulled up, I came up to, I was one of those things where I pulled up to the toll booth and said, hi, I have no money. What do you do? How do we do this? And the guy said, just give me your license and I'll fill out a thing. And I go, it's not on me. And he goes, give me your registration. I go, I don't have that either. He says, give me your name and your social security number.
You just said how smart this guy is, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a smart thing.
No.
You're right.
And then he made me pull over, and I went to jail. First, he put me in a jail cell that's under the Holland Tunnel toll booths. There's a jail cell.
There is?
Yeah, he took me down some stairs.
Hey, you got to see something most people don't get to see.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're a scofflaw, not criminal.
Exactly. And I slept the night. I actually spent the night. I just slept in a little jail cell down there. And then they transferred me to Weehawken County Jail, and that was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Was that one under a photo mat?
Weehawken is a really bad. It's a really bad jail.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why? I would not have thought that at all.
It's terrible. People are throwing food out the windows all the time because of the food. I mean, I almost puked just taking a bite out of a sandwich there.
Was it violent there? Frightening?
Yeah, it was really scary. It was really bad.
And Weehawken, who would have guessed?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's not. It's mostly New York drug addicts that get taken, because the New York jails overflow, and they start letting the Port Authority arrest people so that they can take them to New Jersey, because Port Authority is New York, New Jersey. So,
How long were you in for?
Like a day and a half. I was in, for a morning, afternoon, night, and the whole next day. It was horrible.
That's a long time.
Well, and when I got there, I was in a holding cell, and one of the guys in the holding cell said to me, "Don't let them take you out of this cell, because you'll never be heard from again. If you get moved to a permanent cell, they'll never find you. They lose people because it's a bad bureaucracy." And everybody in the cell agreed, don't leave this cell. And a cop would come once in a while and say, "We got to move you," and I'd go, "No." He said, "Just say no." I'm like, "How do you just say no to?" And I go, "No, I'm not moving." And he goes, "Come on, we're moving you to permanent cell." And I go, "I'm not leaving here." And he goes, all right."
that kept happening. I just kept refusing to leave.
How do you refuse?
Just say no.
Wow, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
No, let me out.
It's really
I
bad.
don't belong here.
No, and the worst part was that there was a toilet just in the middle of the floor of the whole place, like in the middle of the room.
Yeah, you would just have to sit there.
Had to sit there and
Yeah.
So wait, if you get moved to a permanent cell, you'd be there for a week, maybe.
Basically, and I mean, I was because I made bail before I even arrived because I called. I used the phone in the Holland Tunnel cell, and I made bail right away. But it took 2 days for the bail to find me.
Oh,
yeah, it's amazing,
man.
Yeah, it's bad.
How much was
Prison
bail?
System is bad. Oh, I mean, I had to pay. Yeah, it was like
nothing.
No, it was a lot. It was
really?
like $600 or something. I mean, for me, that was a lot then. Now I would.
If I could have it back, all the time that we wasted, I'd only waste it again. If I could have it back, you know I would love to waste it again.
I also found out that, there's this feeling people have that single people are cool and worldly and connected and deep, and that parents are shallow and they're nerds and they're conservative, and that they're living somehow people actually think the parents are living an easy life or like a protected life. Do you know what I mean? Like a suburban. But the fact is the opposite. People that are living single, that's a carefree life. It's a shallow life. And being a parent is a very profound, deep, dark line to walk. It's really vicious. It's a hard world, and it makes you question everything. And so parents are effed up people. I mean, I've had long talks with like soccer moms who are like, you look at her on the surface, it's like, oh, you have Volvo and stretchy pants, but that woman has had some dark, ugly thoughts. She's harboring a lot of profound guilt and existential, there's a lot there. So it's been a really cool, for me, it's all been great. It's made my life worth living. I was really starting to not be sure why I was around when I had kids. I was running I wasn't getting that much satisfaction out of work, and I didn't really care. I didn't feel like I was contributing that much. But now, however, it's like, it's really a great thing.
I don't know how far we can take this, but why do you guys hate each other? Or can you discuss that?
What did you think when she said, I hate you? What did you feel when she said, I hate you?
I hate you, too.
Okay.
Is it just over time, slowly but surely, the relationship broke down, or is this, was there...
Oh, we got 2 kids. I think it's like this for almost any marriage, except for that we have... The thing is, we have a traditional marriage. I make all the money, and she raises the kids. But we have a traditional marriage in 2007, which means that you can't just say that.
Not traditional.
No, I don't get to say, I bring home the bacon.
Right.
You watch the kids.
You fry it up in a pan.
Fry it up in a pan.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I bring home the bacon, I fry it up in the pan, I feed it to the kids, and if I mention that I pay the bills, I'm a fucking asshole. Like I'm a piece of shit for, like somehow I'm being... prehistoric but it's true that I pay so it's hard. Like marriage is harder now, I think, than it ever has been. And it's not like this guy, he wrote a book, the guy we're going to, and it's all about how it's hard for marriage now because when the women work. My wife doesn't fucking work.
So your theory of your book goes out the fucking window.
Yeah, it's hard, but mostly it's because when you have kids, it's hard to fuck anymore, and you also care about your kids far more than you care about your spouse. I mean, my kids are my life now. I really don't give a shit about her. I really don't, because how could I next to my kids?
I'm laughing because I'm fucking stunned. It's just like a stunning thing.
The honesty. Yeah. The honesty.
Well, it's true. If our kids, look, I've got a lot of history with my wife, and there's a lot. It's a complicated relationship, and I feel I feel a lot of push and pull in many directions, and I'm fighting really hard to save it. We're in therapy, and my whole life right now is focused on saving our relationship and getting it back to somewhere good.
Oh, but
it's the biggest deal in my life. But if my kids weren't here, I wouldn't even call her to say goodbye. I just walk. I wouldn't leave a note.
So,
I would
yeah.
just stop being near
So
her
you're obviously-
fucking,
That's the way you do it,
cancerous
Louis.
body.
You're saving it for it for the kids then.
Totally, 100%.
Certain types of people bring you down and turn you evil. If you quit talking and use your brain, maybe things wouldn't be the same. Oh, it's given that certain.
A little observation. Louis C.K. is a wonderful father.
I am a good dad,
Oh my
I guess.
God! You trash your wife, you trash your kids over the years doing the show with us. Over the years, probably the last year or so.
Yeah.
It's rare I call a man adorable.
Right,
But Louis, you are adorable.
We were privy to a nice conversation Louis was having with his daughter about Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thunder's a black gentleman that she's dating.
And we had to be asses in the background, and you were kind of giggling, but like, look, dude, chill, man. This is my my daughter.
This is what I do. This is being a dad.
Because you were basically telling her that thunder can't kill you, and we're like, yeah, but the lightning can.
It's like, yeah, he's explaining, yeah, 'cause she was scared of the thunder.
No, my wife called me, and I got during a break, I got the message. She said, call if you can, because it's a thunderstorm, and she's hysterical.
Which I think is kind of funny that she's with your daughter, but she wants to talk to Daddy about the thunder.
She wants
like
Daddy
Mommy can't calm her down.
I think my wife maybe doesn't ground fears maybe as well as I do. Like she does it for
Walk
me.
it off.
She does it for she does it for me. Like she can ground my fears.
Yeah,
but not for the kids. For some reason, they share anxieties. I think so. She wants to hear a male, rumbly voice saying it's okay.
Everything's okay.
Thunder can't hurt you, and also it moves fast, moves quickly over.
Yeah, I heard you explaining the thunderstorms.
Thunderstorms always move quickly. They don't.
And why was she concerned that the thunder was going to come to New York? Because apparently they're upstate.
They're upstate right now, and they're driving to New York today. So she's thinking the thunder is going to, and it is. It's going to follow her here. So I had to tell her.
And he said that.
I couldn't tell her, no, there's not going to be any thunder here when you get here, because there will be. So I can't lose that credibility. I can't.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, there probably will be thunder when you get here.
But it moves
it'll
very
move
fast.
as quickly. Didn't you notice that it moved quickly today?
All of a sudden, you turned into a weatherman.
Yeah.
You knew. Now, let me tell you, baby, the low pressure system is
That's
moving
what
out of our
happens.
area. A high is moving in from Canada, which will bring cooler temperatures.
No, and then I started telling her about when I was afraid of thunder even recently, and it was because I didn't know why it was so. I was in Austin, Texas, visiting my sister, and they put me in their guest room, which was like this corner room with big windows, and out of nowhere, thunder, hail, fucking wind. It was crazy. And I was like, we're all going to die. Like, I thought, this is the worst thing that ever happened in the world.
The weather's going to kill me.
I never seen it before. The windows are getting cracked by hailstones.
And he's explained this to his daughter.
And I told my daughter this story, and then I went and I woke my sister and her husband up and said, there's a shelter, right? We're all going to the local high school.
Right.
I'm going to be wearing an army blanket in about 5 minutes.
Sleep it on
The authority's going to take care of us, right?
Yeah, the National Guard is on the way here.
You tell the story to your daughter, and you go, and I was 35.
I was 35. Yeah, she doesn't even know what the number 35 is yet.
Right.
But I'm like, I was 35 years old, and I was scared out of my mind because I didn't know. And then my sister told me, oh, it's like this every night. And after that, I experienced the same thing every night, and I didn't care.
And they went back to bed, and they looked at each other and went, oh, my God, this is the worst fucking storm.
Yeah,
I think the roof's going to blow off.
Exactly.
You were yelling.
Keep Louis safe.
You were yelling for your daddy and your mommy that night.
Exactly.
So she's okay now?
She's fine, and I think it's, she's scared by thunder because it thrills her, I think. I think it's she's a very sensitive kid, so thunder is really dramatic and cool.
Have you told her what she has?
I don't want to take that even away from her that much.
Now you say you're divorced. It's all
No, we're separated.
You're going through the thing.
I just like saying divorced. It feels good. I mean, we just haven't done it.
Get used to it, yeah.
We haven't set a date yet. But,
looking forward to it.
It is exactly the same as getting married on the other end.
It's on the tail end of it, yeah.
That, like when you're getting married, when you truly love each other, you're like, well, we'll have the wedding at some point. Like we don't really care. We're, like engaged couples that kind of don't get around to it for a while. Mm-hmm. It's say, oh no, I mean, we hate each other, but at some point we'll put it on paper. We're going to have a small divorce. Just go to City Hall.
Yeah.
You know, just the two of us.
Don't want a lot of people
Yeah.
being involved.
Yeah.
One of the questions was, someone wants to know why or how your children react to the show and the interaction that you have with the kids on the show, and because so much of this is theoretically based on real life, how do your kids in real life react to it?
They think the show's really funny because I'm not like that with them. Like my kids and I have a great relationship. They're really empathetic and smart and nice kids, and they're easy to be with, and we have a lot of fun. And I'm a pretty patient dad, and I don't get upset easily. I just don't. It's not worth it. So when they see me just fucking give the finger in the back of this shitty kid's head, they just think it's hilarious. Like, they're in their minds, they're like, what kid would say that to their father? That's crazy. He gave her the finger. That's sort of the way they look at it. If I was like a mean, shitty, disinterested dad in real life, I think they'd be like, oh God, they're really just showing everybody how awful it is. But we have a good thing going, the three of us. So.
Yeah. And they seem very, they were here earlier.
Yeah, they were here for the award thing.
Yeah. How do they feel about all that? How do they feel about that kind of end of it? Do they understand what it is?
It's weird being with your dad, and people walking up and shaking their big hands with them and saying, hey, your dad's funny, and like trying to make them laugh, and they're just looking at them like a giant face person. So sit there and their backs are arching. It was fucking painful for them. It's just this, and Gary Shandling is just going, and I'm sitting there, Gary Shandling, and they're like, who's this? What is he doing? It's just, not a long time for them, but they're nice people, so they grinned and they bared it. And they were happy to see me get an award. That made them happy. And I took them to the Letterman show. I did Letterman a few nights ago, and I brought my kids with me. And they stood right behind where I was standing. They were like 4 feet away. And that was an amazing experience because they really like they felt what it was like to do what I do. It's the first time they really connected with it. And my oldest daughter said, I felt like you were falling and falling, and then every joke was like a plane that would take you back up to the top, and then you'd fall and fall. And she said all these things, and I was like, I've never thought of it that way, and that's exactly how it feels. And that'll be a memory she has. So it'll be like somebody saying, yeah, my dad's red buttons, and I went to the Ed Sullivan show with him. Really? Wow. So she has that now, and yeah, that meant a lot. It made it mean a lot less to me doing the Letterman show. I hadn't done it in 15 years. I was kind of nervous, but then because they were there and I had that experience with them, fuck those people. I don't give a shit. I was there with my kid. We had a good time. But kids do that. They take pressure off your own shitty life. As you project forward into that, I'm going to be dead and she's going to have this memory. It's awesome.
You keep a schedule because of your kids, right? You have to.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I won't come out here and spend a month out here shooting a movie. I won't do it.
Yeah.
The only way I would do it is if, like, Martin Scorsese or somebody like that said, you're going to be the next guy in one of my movies. Then I'd figure out, I'd go have coffee with my ex-wife, and I'd say, listen, we got to figure out a way for me to do this without losing too much time with the kids. Right. But I wouldn't just come out here and be in some funny comedy because I'm with my kids 3 days a week. And that's a hard and fast. That's an important thing to me. So, and they're counting on that. They expect it. Yeah. And they're counting on it. And just for me, it's not okay to me to say, you're not going to see your dad this week because I'm going to work. It happens occasionally, but I work out the schedule with their mom so I can still see them. Because when you're married, if you leave the house, it's still the kids are in your house. Do you know what I mean? Yep. But when you're divorced, if the kids aren't with you, they're not even in your home. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're not as much of a presence for them. Yeah. So it's, and also I love being with them, and I'm part of their stability. So I just make it a rule. It's like when I heard about Joe Lieberman, that he's a senator, but he doesn't work on Fridays or whatever the day is. The Jews don't work. Sandy Koufax, there's guys that are always, they say, I just don't do it. You just can't make me do it because it's important to me. And everybody goes, that's crazy, but then they work around it. So that's what I did with this. I told my agent, when I go on the road, I don't leave New York City till I've dropped my kids at school on Wednesdays. Then I can go on the road, and I have to be back on half the Saturdays a month. That's a lot of Saturdays. That's a lot of stand-up gigs I could be doing Saturdays.
And you've shut down the shooting for the day on Louis.
Yeah, on Louis I only shoot Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't shoot on any Monday or Tuesday.
You're a better dad than I am, I gotta say.
Well, I'm pulling it off because I decided at some point that kids come before work. I just decided that because I have to. Are you married?
I'm married.
Yeah, so it's different. You can tag team. You've got two people.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of it that way.
That's the whole reason. When I got divorced and I had my kids with me on half the week, I thought, I got to make this work. I mean, this is just me and them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a nanny to watch them on my custody time. That makes they'd be better off with their mom. Why would I do that? So I thought, how am I going to handle this? It used to be I just did whatever people asked me to do, and I thought, okay, I have to make a choice. I have to decide which one beats who gets the tie break. And I decided the kids. And so when I get a call from somebody saying, you want to do this, and it's on kid time, I say, I can't. I just can't. Doesn't matter how cool a gig it is, I can't do it.
So that's why you would never host a late night show or do any of that stuff, yeah.
I would never do it.
For you. My world pauses, pauses, pauses for you.
I mean, this is something I learned from my first daughter.
Yeah.
Was how to have any positive outlook on life at all. Like, I learned it from her. I let her lead me out of the wilderness of that. Because to me, it's like, as soon as she was born, my first thought was, when is she going to realize that this is life is torture? Like, when is it going to hit her?
When does it hit?
Because she looks so happy, and she, I thought, because I always used to think about birth as this awful, you were in a womb and it was warm. Your body was filled with fluid, warm fluid. Like there was no conflict.
Like being in the Matrix.
Yeah. Taking a breath is an immediate, like it's an invasion. Yeah. You can feel your body attack whatever came in that shouldn't have. The air is a little cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's the way I look at life as a struggle, just being alive.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah. So I figured a kid is born and then they're like, just irritated and angry, but she was so positive. She was so happy to be alive.
This to me though sounds like Parenthood is a fucking nightmare. I don't see
it's great.
No, it sounds like it's just years of this emotional roller coaster that a human shouldn't have to go through.
It is great.
It's just.
But the attachment you have, it's hard to explain. It is great. I'm with Louis. I'm all in. I love it. But I'm trying to learn.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying to learn my way around it.
Well,
still.
that's so. As long as you're doing that, you're fine. As long as you're actually trying to learn and not trying to hold on to what you were like before.
Oh no,
that's it. Just say goodbye, huh?
Oh yeah, but that's
a lot of that's
positive. You get rid of shit that because your life becomes just a series of cravings and disappointments and gray versions of shit that you thought you were going to get. But if you give up on all the things you thought you used to want, you start getting new shit from it.
This might be impossible for you guys to even consider because you're so emotionally attached
but this
to your
just sounds
children.
like a hassle to you.
I understand. But are there things that you absolutely can't do now that you would love to be able to do, but you have kids? Like, I understand the great part is having the kid and there's all that love stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But like that aside, and I don't even know if you could put that aside, but if you could put that personal thing that you're in love with this little human being, are there things that you're like, fuck man, I really want to do that?
Well, yeah, but some of them die down after a while, and you can do a lot. I can't think of anything I really can't do that I want to do. I mean, I wouldn't mind moving to another town. Sometimes I think about that.
Yeah?
Like, at this point in my life, what if I could move to San Francisco or Philadelphia for,
or Canada or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really do it because I got to maintain my kid's life. So there's a stability that I got to maintain.
Yeah, it seems
that I
to
can't
me-
walk away from. But still, I mean, to me, the best thing in the world is to have kids and then get divorced because then you really can do anything you want.
Because it's more the wife that would hold you back
That's
than,
exactly
than the
right.
kids.
I have my kids half the week, and even if you get along with your wife, you have to make bargains and compromises with pretty much every moment of your life, especially once there's a kid. You got to share that responsibility. So you start every moment. It's like, where are you going? If you start leaving the house, wait, what are you doing? Because I would like to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, okay.
So where are you going right now? It better be. Well, I'm just going to walk around. Nah, not good enough. You're sitting here. Because I'd like to walk around. So neither of us is going to get to walk around.
So we'll just be miserable.
We're just going to
sitting
sit
in
here
this
with
room.
the fucking baby till one of us has like an emergency reason to get out of here. That's what it starts being. Like the thing you're dismissing in the first sentence. Yeah,
Right.
I get the love, but
Okay, that's
thing,
the big part.
That's the huge part.
It's like saying, look, I get that you like living blah blah blah, but why not kill yourself? I mean, granted, life is worth living. Death is terrifying, but still, why don't you just die?
But there is a sacrifice that's being made by having children. I don't know whether it's that important of a sacrifice, or whether the child is such a great thing that the sacrifice isn't even a sacrifice to you.
Well, for dads, it's the thing that you don't know automatically is that you should be with the kid.
Right.
So I kind of had this instinct, be with the kid is a lot, and then it's not a sacrifice. Like the fucking shit you have to do, the amount of errands you have to run, and shit you have to go, like the logistics of keeping food and supplies in the house. Well, the thing I started doing is just always bring the kid with you.
Mm-hmm.
Always, I'll take him, and then the mom is like, "Fuck, great," because your kid is great company. They're great. They're really fun to be with. If you go out, I used to love going out shopping for 50 things. As long as I had my daughter with me, she's just somebody to talk to.
Right, and you see the world through their eyes.
Yeah, you get to
All sorts
show
of
your
shit.
kid like I used to go to the supermarket, which I used to hate doing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I take a watermelon off the shelf and put it in her lap. Look at this, it's a fucking watermelon. You never seen one of those before, have you? And
The
she's
kid's
got this
like
green. She's never seen I handed her first watermelon and watched her look at it and go, Jesus,
that's amazing.
She just held it in her lap. I always gave my daughter access to the real world. I don't believe in like toys are shit. Toys are like fake things.
So,
But you
but
give
a
kid
watermelon
fucking-
is like, holy shit, that's a watermelon.
Or just give her your computer. Just here, take this. Just give her fucking movie cameras and shit to just hold. And,
see, whenever I see
fondle.
kids doing that, all I can think of is they're going to break it.
They
They're
might
gonna fuck it up.
They might. I might break it.
I think
I don't
that's
care.
true.
I don't take care of my shit anyway. Everything they do that fucks with you is positive in the end. Like my kids, when they'd wake me up at 6, and I
boy.
went to sleep at 3 because I'm a night person.
Oof. Well,
They
yeah.
wake me up, and the feeling in my brain would hurt a lot. Like, I don't want to fucking be up right now.
Yeah.
But within 10 minutes, we're talking. I'm talking to them. And they're in the morning, they got a good attitude in the morning. I've got one eye open, and I'm going, yeah, what? Daddy, I had a dream. Okay, what? And I'm just listening to it. And then I'm like, wow, you had that dream? That is, then you're getting into conversation with your kid, and they're nice to you. You know, I mean, some people have a contrary relationship with their kids, and they are always, Dad, like those kind of kids.
Yeah.
Fucking, I would tap right out of that life. I'd fucking dye my hair and get the fuck out. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Both of my girls and I have really good and the little one and I, we fight sometimes and it's contentious, but never feels like a bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sunday nights, nice for hospitals and homes, answering the phone. And what if I could take us both away from here, far away, my dear?
I have a big affinity for Rich Voss.
Who doesn't?
Important person.
Why?
You know what? When I was getting divorced, he was really nice to me.
That's all it takes. Nice.
Yeah, I came to this show back when it was in another
We were
building.
nice to you.
No, you guys
No,
were
you're
nice.
not. You're not nice to anybody.
Of course you were. I came into this show in like a stunned state of I was just fucking depressed.
Yeah.
And there's fucking dumb Rich Voss, and he says something to me like, if you ever want to talk about what's going on with you, I'll talk to you about it. And I was like, why would I want to talk to you? And you wear a gold Rolex and you don't have any money.
I got a silver one too.
So he sits next to me on the couch and he goes, "Hey, when I got divorced, I had 2 kids, 2 little girls, and he described my life exactly, and he gave me said 3 or 4 things that were so important, just practical. When you're in a fucked up place like that, all the nice things people say are just insulting. Like, hey man, you'll be okay. Fuck you, no, I won't.
Through it.
The point is, no, I won't. You asshole. The only thing that means anything is practical advice. Is like, hey, here's something that I've been there, and here's something that makes it easier.
What did he say?
And he did say,
It doesn't matter.
well, he said,
it's interesting. It matters. Maybe it'll help someone else out there.
He said, I'm going to cheat on Bonnie all the time. He said to me that he is he's 2 things that were important to me. First, he said that his biggest goal was to maintain a good relationship with his ex. Like that it was really important to him to do whatever it took to stay amicable with her. And he said, now Bonnie and I have a baby and she babysits tonight so I can have a date night. That's how that paid off, and that his 2 girls are now grown, and that they share them, and that they feel good between their 2 parents. So that's what he said. This is like, it's hard, but if you do it, here's what can happen. Like, there's a fucking future.
Rich, who told you this?
Yeah, this was amazing.
And
then I said, and then I'm asking questions. I'm like, I had been divorced for a while, and I said I dated for a bit, and I didn't want to anymore. Like, I didn't want to keep going out and trying to get laid. I didn't like that part of it. Like, I just didn't, I was like, had a lot going on. And I said, but that feels like I'm worried that I'm like reclusing myself and he said, fuck getting laid. You got a career and you got 2 kids. For right now, that can be enough. Like, he gave me, it said it's okay not to get laid sometimes. As a man, you feel like you got to get pussy wherever it's available. But sometimes it's okay to take a breath and actually just be a father and a professional, whatever you are. And it left me off the hook. This shit meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Wow,
and
look at that
I
shit,
sit here
Rich.
and I will insult him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what
for other
comics we're
people's
supposed to
entertainment.
insult.
But no,
Well,
I'm grateful to Rich Voss.
Here's the
I
thing,
got a
when
lot of
you get-
support from unusual places during
When
that
you
time.
get when you get divorced, and you know this,
Well, yeah.
I
had no kids, though.
Well,
Yeah.
huh?
I had no kids, though.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
even. That's just a financial
But
fleecing.
yeah,
That's, that's just fucking extortion.
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same as in recovery. If you quit drinking and doing drugs, and you start gambling, you're only transferring addictions, and you're not dealing with quitting drinking and drugs.
Right.
If you're going through a divorce and you just start fucking whatever you can, it's just burying the pain in here, and you're jerking off in some.
Yeah, you're
drug.
not actually.
That's all you're doing.
That's why I think the problem with a lot of people now is that they're just consumers. They just want to consume and shit, and they don't think about like, well, I actually need to do something to make myself feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I actually have to take a breath.
And it is a special case once again because he tells the story. He gets married on his wedding night. He looked at the ceiling and had tears in his eyes. He knew he made a mistake.
I like,
a lot of people don't feel like they're making a mistake from day one.
Day one.
Maybe a couple years in, you start going, "Holy shit! What the fuck is this about?"
No, I think most people do. They just
you think
lie
most
to
people
themselves.
realize?
Yeah, a lot of people I think get married because they're trying to fix their relationship. A lot of people get married.
Yeah.
A lot of people get married to make their girlfriend happy. Like they don't get married to begin. It's like what you're saying about you're waiting for somebody to come and pick the real parents to pick up the kid. I remember when we were at the hospital and my wife was in labor. The whole time I thought I realized that I was really thinking we're going to go through this. She's going to go through labor and go through this thing that we've been training for and reading books about.
Yeah.
And then she's going to have a kid. Then we're going to go home and get a pizza. And I did not picture taking a kid home with us. Like when we put the kid in the thing in the car, I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is our lives now.
Oof.
That's so. And I think it's like that for some people really get married because they're like, my girlfriend's pissed off.
will have a wedding and then she'll feel better. And then you realize, oh my
Then
God,
what happens? Yeah.
I'm fucking married now.
Yeah. You had the wedding, and now you're married.
I obviously take a lot of trips to Philly, and usually we get up and go. Let's pack your bag. I pack my bag. I'll call for the car, and we're out of here, right?
Yep.
That same little thing took about...
It's a lot harder.
At least 2 extra hours.
Yeah,
it's like
when
doing
you
the same thing you're used to doing, but completely numb your right arm and your left arm, and then attempt to do that. What you're used to doing. That's how I felt.
You know what? It's great though. That's what that part I liked. That your life gets that much harder because you just get more. You adapt and you get more competent. Like I remember feeling like a Vietnam, like the guys in Nam who like have those they have big heavy rifles,
packs on their back.
Yeah, you got like a gun belt down the right side, and when you stand up, all this clanging armor, and you're walking with all this shit, and that's me at like taking my kids to Coney Island. I take them to Coney Island in the summer a lot. And I've got all this shit. I've got each kid's bag. I've got my stuff. I've got all that fucking crap. And I'm like, let's move out. And then we start moving a few clicks down the beach. We get to a bad beach. All right, we need to move. I've got one crying, so I got to pick her up. The other one I got by the hand, and then you just move and you become.
It just sounds like so much.
Well,
work.
if you attack it I'm a guy, and you know what I mean. I've got muscles, and I can make this work.
You're the Sarge.
Yeah, and then it's positive if you look at it that way. It really is to me a point of like an attitude thing. If you really are like waiting for mom to give you a list of shit to do, and you're just sort of like, yes, dear, then it's depressing. But if you take it on like, here's what we're doing. And then you get good at that, getting the shit in the car. It gets satisfying.
I'm amazed at how well I do shit now.
Yeah.
I always sucked at doing shit, but I could set up some shit.
Yeah, you'll get
packet plays and all that. They're like,
good.
They're like, you set that up really quick. I'm like, oh yeah, you fucking did.
If you bring male skills to raising a kid, it's really satisfying.
Yeah, I got male skills all of a sudden because before that I was useless.
The other thing is people get too bent on getting through their day the way they planned it. So when your kid explodes and you're trying to push through the day, I cancel everything.
Yeah.
If we're getting into a hairy thing with one of the kids, I just put everything down on the sidewalk and sit on the sidewalk and go, we're not going now.
See, you have this.
Let's talk about this. That's because I don't have. That's because I'm not married.
Yeah.
I get to do that.
Wow.
If you're married, you got to fucking plan everything. This is again, if you're getting along, this isn't a bad marriage.
Right.
You have to plan everything. You have to agree on every fucking detail of how something's going to go down, and you have to stick to your plans. That's a nightmare. I took my kids camping a couple weeks ago, and the reason it worked is because I was able to do it myself, and I had the power to pull the plug on the whole thing.
You did your way.
Yeah, I said let's just get in the car and just go south. And I went to a sporting goods store with the girls, and I'm buying a tent and sleeping bags, and they're like, are we going camping? I was like, we might. I said, I don't know yet. I haven't decided if this is going to happen. We're going to buy these things. We may or may not use them. So we put all this shit in the trunk, the camping stuff, and we drove. In my head, I was like, I didn't have a place to stop. I didn't use a map. I just fucking drove down the Jersey Shore. And we saw a hotel, so let's stay there tonight. Stayed in a hotel. Next day, I always had the option to just run back home.
It's like you're on the lam.
Yeah, exactly. Found a ferry that goes to Delaware from New Jersey in Cape May, and this beautiful ferry boat. Just found it. Went to Cape May.
I'm all about that.
Oh,
I don't like a plan. I just want to jump in the car and go sometimes.
And the kids don't know, and they don't give a shit. And then there's a state park. I see a sign for a state park, and I go, hey, do you want to go camping and sleep in a tent tonight? And they're like, yeah. And so I pull over. But again, as I'm putting them, I never looked at the instructions for the tent. I opened the tent at the campsite.
Yeah.
And as I start building it in my head, I'm like, if this gets gnarly, there's a fucking hotel 10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
We'll just go to the hotel.
Kept it
Yeah,
safe.
but we did it. We spent the night
in the middle of the wilderness.
Yeah,
a 6 and a 9-year-old, and there's a well with a pump, and they were cleaning and making. We made dinner. It was fucking amazing. It was one of the greatest nights I ever spent on earth.
I mean, that's what with my girls. I called it a road trip. We just said we're on the road. We're not going. Where are we going? I don't know.
Yeah, no
we
real
just went on a road trip, and because they're not fucking nosy grown-ups.
They don't have to know.
Well, how far is it? Where are we going? Can you just find out? Can you call? They're just in the back seat reading and having a good time. And then once in a while, I'd stop and go, "Get out here! What is this? It's a national preserve. Look at the birds." They're like, "Wow!" And then we're camping. We fucking camp. We wake up. We break camp. And then next thing you know, they're in Washington, D.C. They had no idea how close they were. I'm like, this is the nation's capital. Look at Abraham Lincoln. They're like, oh, my God. And I wrote my manager right before I left because I thought I might be in D.C. to say, do you know anybody at the White House? It's like, do I have any connection to the White House? But they didn't know this. If I had a wife, I think I might be able to. Do you really know anybody? You know, did you get us the thing at the White House? But that morning I woke up, the morning we got to D.C. and they said, we got you a tour with one of Obama's speechwriters has a fucking he wants to get into comedy.
Oh, shit. So you had to listen to his
so I just take my daughters to the White House. They have no idea. Just come over here. And we go up to the gate and I tell my name and they open the gate to the fucking White House. And we walked in and had a personal tour by this dude.
And looking at it from a kid's perspective, that's way better. It's
a great day.
Because he has they have no idea what's going to happen.
But they also don't have an idea that is an amazing dad right there.
Oh, yeah.
That is like
I went to the White House.
Super dad just took him camping, White House, friggin' a hand pump.
Yeah.
That's great shit.
It was insane.
And that's not like, oh, fuck, all right, let's go,
But anyway,
let's go to the mall, buy some shoes.
Exactly. What Louis teaching, it's not like everything has to be planned and stuff. You could just go with it, even though, like in my case, it's a 14-month-old. You would think maybe we should have a planned fucking
And that's the thing I always thought, like, okay, and from hearing, spontaneity, like, disappears when you have kids.
Well, I'm
but
sure
you
a little
just,
bit.
like, that,
If you're on your own,
is the ultimate in
You
spontaneity.
can do it, and they don't know how. I mean, I'm sort of looking ahead a day, and I'm looking at possibilities. I'm using my iPhone and finding shit.
Sure.
But if the White House thing had fallen through, they never would have known it was even on tap.
Yeah, right. No disappointment.
No, you just okay, we got this. Come on over here.
Yeah,
let's do this.
You could have gone to the park across the street and look at homeless people, and that would have been cool too.
And then at the end of the whole trip, we had to drive home. So it was like 4 or 5 hour drive.
Yeah,
and I told them, you're going to pay for the trip now. It's 5 hours of driving through fucking New Jersey. It's not going to be in Delaware.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
but
that's payment.
Yeah, it's worth
That's
it.
That's
worth it.
something, man.
Yeah, I don't think being a parent has to be a major sacrifice. You're certainly making sacrifices, but it doesn't have to be so drastic.
That was XO episode 33, Louis C.K. I hope you found that interesting. If you'd like to hear any more episodes of this show, you can find them at keithcourage.com. And Opie and Anthony is, of course, at opieandanthony.com. And I'm going to finish off with a couple clips that I had left. One of them is about Jim Norton's mom. I think it kind of relates, and it's just a really interesting little clip. And after that, one last clip of young Louis almost dying. Thank you.
I am, by the way.
Jerry?
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your answer is no, it's not too much for a
Why is
hooker.
Norton your idol? For his comedy skills or for just liking prostitutes?
Or C, both.
Yeah.
Besides Opie and Anthony being funny, he's the funniest comedian that comes in.
Right.
Thank you. Well, I'm not coming. I'm saying here.
He's here. He's.
Well, besides
But why don't you
guys
ask
that
him about Richard Pryor or something? What are you asking about hookers for, you creep?
I don't know, because Jimmy is an expert on that subject.
Well, he's got a point. His parents are listening. Yes. Fucking asshole.
Yes. And my father would probably say 100 is too much for a blowjob, but Mom would say no, it's not.
Yeah.
Mom would say
anything
ass play.
for you, Jimmy.
Only if ass
Your
play is
mom
involved.
would, Jimmy, won't your mom say you have a nice gym downstairs?
A nice one.
Oh, boy.
Wow, you're bombing.
Yeah, I actually, though, it's funny. I did take Mom's advice, and that's why I started working out. Mom's advice changed my life.
It's from way back.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mommy loves
We
you.
just remember the voicemail, but I forgot that it led to you actually working
It
out.
changed my mother left me a voicemail. She heard me on the show one time talking about prostitutes.
Wait, Louis, have you ever heard this?
What? No.
It was 30 seconds.
We haven't played this in a while. We got it.
It's a real voicemail from my mother that I saved and put on my CD.
And she had heard you talking about prostitutes
hookers
on the radio.
on this show.
Yeah.
So how did that lead to working out?
Well, I'll tell you. This is the voicemail she left me.
It's
We have
great.
it. It's a real voicemail. She was like really embarrassed I played it.
Oh.
They're running around. No one's really working behind the scenes today.
Do you remember one time when Jimmy and I were working on my show, and Jerry Minor, who played my neighbor across the hall, we were all eating bacon. There's always a table of just bacon, a whole table, and we're just eating it, and I'm just making myself sick. And I'm like, oh God, I fucking hate myself. Just eating bacon, just making my body hate me more. And Jim does one of his corny things. He says, everything in moderation, Lou. And then so I said, it really everything, like that goes for anything, like fucking your mom in the ass in moderation. And then I said that, and then Jerry Minor does a motion of a mother getting fucked in the ass and goes, not too much now, dear. Like your mom telling you.
Oh, shit. We got the phone call? Oh, we got it now? All right, so this is really Jim's mom.
Okay.
Leaving a voicemail.
A couple years ago.
Hi, sweetheart. It's Mom. How are you? Jimmy, I know this is a little awkward, but everyone's fine here. But we heard the radio show. We love it, by the way. And you were talking about giving up, the ladies of the evening, which is a wonderful thing. But you know what? Dr. Phil always says replace something with something. So I was thinking, you have that nice gym downstairs. And, just for 20 minutes to half an hour, and you would feel better. Use that. And also there's gyms in New York you could go. You could exercise, and you would feel a whole lot better. You'd lose a little weight, you'd tone up, and you relieve, tension and stuff, and you'd be meeting other people. I don't know, honey. I just thought it might be a good thing. I'm sorry. I'm interfering, I know. I'm thinking of you. Nobody knows I'm calling. So don't get offended or think I'm strange, but I am a mother, and I worry about you. You're doing so well. Everything's falling into place. This might be just one of the, the health things. It would help you, sweetheart. Well, anyway, that's it. I'm not going to go on and on. I know it's not my business. But anyway, I love you, and I feel I can interfere because I'm your mother. I'm taking special license. But anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you at Christmas, and I really hope you can make it. And anyway, don't be mad at me, okay, sweetie? I love you. Talk to you soon.
right.
Bye-bye.
I want to cry.
I know.
I want to cry. That's the best mother I ever heard.
Is she nice?
And you listen how she said,
just
though,
so sweet.
don't be mad at me. Like he goes home and, what the fuck did you do, bitch?
That's what Colin
But it's so sweet and you picture it playing while in Apocalypse Now you're laying there dead like clean paper.
Oh, God.
God. Anyway, Street, you're laying there riddled by bullets.
Now keep your hiney out of the way of the
Can't
bullets.
bring your hiney home.
Oh,
damn, that's good.
We're going to get you a new car, but that's a secret. And avoid prostitutes.
Ha ha.
Just ha ha. That laugh.
Bullet riddled body. Oh, that's so nice.
See when he was protected? It was a fucking hooker.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I like also just like every mother of a grown person that it starts with, "Hey, everybody's fine.
Everybody's
'Cause
fine.
You just know your mother calls every time I see my mother. So who's dead?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't fucking bother
Here's
me,
the
Mom.
death
call.
Yeah, we get along really good though. I mean, my parents
that's
are like
great.
really cool. They like
She's right too. She's that's good advice.
They love the show, and my dad loves the sex stories. He doesn't care, and but she was right. I did take the advice. I was like, God damn, my mother. Because
I didn't think you were going to take the advice. See,
No.
that's
It wasn't-
what
at first
a
I wasn't.
mother hears her son talking about, like, shitting in hookers' mouths, and she just thinks he needs to exercise, my boy. I think that's what he needs.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's so awesome.
The innocent ignorance of a mom.
No, that's the way they think. They'll defend any boy.
But she said at one point, she goes, you'll tone up, and because she was kind of saying, look, I do understand why you have to pay for it, but maybe if you crush his fat tits, score a little free box. That was loving mother's way of saying it.
Exactly.
Oh, you think that's what you meant?
Put the money into a health club.
Yeah, look,
you might
you'll meet some people.
So might get to fuck somebody who's not chewing gum
Yeah,
while
maybe
you're.
if your tits weren't showing in an XL shirt, you'd meet a girl for free, fat fuck. You and your deep belly button.
And you've been working out ever since?
Yeah, man. I hate when I miss it now. I did yesterday. I hit the heavy bag a lot. Now I did fucking 10 rounds in a bag, and fucking a little.
How many pounds?
I don't weigh myself. I don't know because
I don't do that either. I work out, but I don't care about.
I just kind of like want to see where my stomach is at, and it's all eating, and it's hard to eat right, man. It's fucking.
I just do it to feel better. I just do it to have stamina and feel like a person.
You know, a massage therapist in LA changed me too.
I tell you, the first thing I ever did, and this was horrifically stupid, I bought a Sea-Doo, a two-seater, sit-down jet ski, a personal watercraft, which obviously I couldn't afford. That's another story.
Yeah, no, by the way, I was on all these boats I bought instead of groceries.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Part of
Instead
why
of
I'm
paying
not married
rent,
anymore.
things like that.
The one thing I'll cop to is that I did really dumb things with my money my whole life.
Can you jet ski on the Hudson or no?
I've seen them out there, yeah.
Seen them a lot, actually.
Where I went, though, I wanted to get out to Watch Hill on Fire Island. So I drove out to Patchogue early in the morning, and I crossed the Great South Bay, and it was pea soup fog. I couldn't see shit. I ripped a chart. I went into a store where they sold boating charts and Hagstrom maps and looked for the page I needed and looked around and just tore it out and put it in my pocket. And I had a compass. And every like 2 minutes, I'd pull out the chart and the compass, line up which direction I was supposed to go, and just keep going. Through fog. And I could have been broadsided by a boat at any minute. Because I couldn't see. And then right when the fog broke, I didn't know where I was going to end up. I couldn't possibly think this was going to work. It said, "Welcome to Watch Hill." I pegged it. Fucking nailed Watch Hill from Patchogue.
Isn't that satisfying, though? Didn't you feel good?
It was like I worked, but I only did it once, so I don't know if it worked or I just got really fucking lucky.
I would have just drove and hoped for the best. That's the difference between you and I.
Go in one direction.
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes, and then when
suddenly
you
you become
shut down,
hyper-aware of how much fucking fuel do I have? How much should I put in? And
you start thinking like shit, like because I would stop the jet ski, so I'd just be like kind of bobbing in the water, and I'd have the chart out in the compass, and I'd look around and look down into the water, and I can't see anything. I'm like, I don't know where I am, man. I have no fucking idea.
Those are
if
weird
I'm heading-
moments when you're like, I don't know how this is going to end up. This
Yeah,
is
it's an
fucked up shit
adventure.
that's happening to me right now.
This is how people, and you think this is how people die.
Yeah, exactly.
They
And you have
find
to-
them dead.
I used to say to myself stuff in weird situations like that, stuff like hurry, but don't worry. Like, don't
hurry, but don't
just
worry.
try to go fast without your hands shaking.
Yeah.
If you can. I was in Antigua once doing a show in
that's
Antigua.
fucking great.
And I took a jet ski, and I said, how far out can I go? It's kind of a big jet ski. And this bored woman said, you have to stay between these two buoys. But she didn't say how far out I could go.
Yeah.
So I just kept going out further and further and further away to like the land is like a little brown strip behind me.
Oh, shit.
And I don't know nothing about water, so this is before I had boats or anything. And I'm starting to go up these gentle rises and then down in these valleys. And I'm not really aware of how that they're getting bigger.
Holy shit.
And I don't know how ocean. I'm in the Caribbean Sea.
You're in the fucking ocean, dude.
Which makes it harder to see the land now.
Yes. And now, so then at one point, the last one I remember seeing was that
perfect storm wave.
I went I yeah, it was like that I was going down into this valley of water, and I look, and all around me is blue water. I'm gonna look up, and I just see blue water, just really gentle. It's being very.
It was tricking you.
Fucking
It
with
was
me.
tricking
And
you.
Then
It
I'm
was calling
climbing,
you.
Then I'm climbing one, and I'm going a little bit fucking vertical, and I don't know what this is, and then I go over the top and just fall. Me and the jet ski just fall in two different people.
Holy
and
shit!
Hit really hard, and then it all swallows me up. And I'm fucking in huge stinging pain. My elbow, like I fucking injured it, like I just couldn't. And then I come up, and the jet ski's in 3 pieces.
Oh fuck! What did you do?
3 pieces. The seat, the body is bobbing around. The seat is
somewhere over there.
And then the handlebars, which have foam rubber on them, are going up and down like they're about to sink. And I look, and now that my eyes are 2 inches above the water. I can't
Dude, you're
see.
so
I can't
fucked.
see land, nothing.
Holy
and I'm
shit.
thinking, what, sharks? I don't know what this is.
Of course.
And then, and I realized I'm really fucked. And I had the thing around my wrist that pulled the key
little
out.
lanyard, that
And
stops
thank
the jet
God
ski.
that held, and I held it. I was like, my fingers hurt for how hard I was holding the keys because it was like life. And I swam to the seat. I just had like Bob in there. I'm like. Don't
tell me you put this fucker back together.
I need a plan. So I swam for the handlebars first.
You need that more than the seat.
Really heavy because they're underwater. I'm trying to hold them above the water so they don't weight, so that they're hard. I'm dragging them through water, and then I swam to the seat, I think, and then I got to the thing itself.
You're able to put the whole thing back together?
I threw the seat back up, and I sat up there. Now I'm just sitting. And I'm still going up and down and up and down.
It's hard too when that thing's not running. It's very hard to keep it level.
Yeah, the momentum.
It's like a
keeps it going
bicycle.
straight.
Yeah, it's like a bicycle. If you're not moving on a jet ski or a personal watercraft, the thing just wants to tip over and throw you off.
But somehow I put the handle. I jiggered the handlebars in there.
There's no way you got this thing started again.
I put it together and I put the thing back on the key, the kill switch, and I took a fucking breath. And I
hit that ignition.
Wait, the kill switch is when your wrist pulls it out. This prevents it from going away.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kills the motor.
So I put the kill switch thing back on, and then I just took a breath and said something to myself like there's no. I can't pretend there's a God now. I never thought there was one before. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and ask for help. I just fucking hope this shit starts. And I'm I think I might be dying today. And I started it, and it started. And I just carefully went. And I went up. It was kind of gnarly.
Because now you got to go back up one of the waves, right?
It wasn't as bad going. I must have hit some
like
weird
a road wave
because it wasn't as bad once I fell off the thing, and it wasn't as bad going back.
It was one of those.
My head was fucking burning, and I was also just getting sunburned by the second.
Let me tell you something.
When I came back, the woman's waiting for me, equally bored, and I didn't say nothing. I just fucking parked it and said, "Got my little license back."
It's all broken.
So,
Thank you.
Jesus, you didn't even tell her.
I didn't tell her.
People saying you should be dead.
It's easier on a jet ski to hit a wave head on.
Right.
Where the direction of the wave is coming at you, it's easier to go that way than to go with the wave. With the wave, you will fall off the other side of it. When you're going over a wave and it's coming at you, you jump it. And you kind of have a landing ramp behind the wave where the wave then tapers into...